My husband forced me, 8 months pregnant, to accompany his mistress on a bungee jumping trip. I silently agreed. I end my previous life. Luna was in a bad mood. To cheer her up, Charlie offered to help fulfill one of her wishes. Luna said her greatest wish was to have someone bungee jump with her. Despite being afraid of heights, Charlie immediately agreed and insisted I come along. When I refused on the spot, citing my pregnancy, Luna became dejected and eventually went to a bar to drown her sorrows. At that bar, she was drugged and lost her innocence. Afterward, devastated by the trauma, she left a suicide note and chose to end her life. If I hadn't gone to the bar that day, would everything have been different? Upon reading the note, Charlie grabbed my throat and roared, "Why didn't you agree to go bungee jumping with Luna? Would you have died if you'd said yes?" He strangled me to death with his own hands, and my unborn child died with me. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day Charlie demanded I accompany Luna bungee jumping. At this moment, we stood on the outdoor bungee platform. I huddled in the farthest corner, gripping the railings tightly, my 8-month pregnant belly feeling especially heavy in the harsh weather, making it hard to breathe. The bungee safety equipment on my body looked unreliable, making my face grow even paler. Meanwhile, Charlie standing opposite me showed no concern for my condition. His tender gaze was entirely focused on Luna, who had insisted on bungee jumping today. Luna clung to Charlie coquettishly. "You're so good to me. Every time I'm upset, you're the one who helps me vent my emotions. You're the closest person I have in this world." Charlie gently embraced her. "Don't worry, Luna. No matter what happens, I'll always be by your side, so you don't need to fear anything." The two gazed into each other's eyes with deep affection, as if only they existed in this world. Just then, a gust of wind struck, causing the bungee platform to shake violently. I involuntarily staggered, drawing gasps from the surrounding crowd. My God! Coming to bungee jump with such a big belly, does she have a death wish? Pregnant women should stay home. Coming out in this weather, isn't she afraid of miscarrying? Some women are just irresponsible, not caring about the child in their belly. When something goes wrong, it'll be too late to cry. Hearing these comments, Charlie looked at me with even more disgust. "You heard them, right? Pregnant women like you are trouble wherever you go. I really regret bringing you out here." Luna quickly interjected, "Charlie, don't be angry. After all, Ember did drug you just to get pregnant with your child. Don't blame her too much." Then she lowered her head, feigning distress. "It's all my fault. If I hadn't developed depression, I wouldn't have wanted to relieve stress through bungee jumping. Maybe we should just forget about today. Ember doesn't seem too willing anyway." "No way!" Charlie refused outright, staring at Luna with determination. "I promise to help fulfill your wish. Today, you're definitely going to bungee jump successfully." Then he turned to me, his gaze ice cold. "Ember, if you hadn't announced your pregnancy when Luna was heartbroken, how would she have gotten depression? She's so unhappy now, and it's all because of you. If you have any conscience left, hurry up and jump with her to fulfill her wish." Only then did the surrounding people understand I was being forced, and their looks toward Charlie became complicated. The bungee platform staff also frowned, unable to help but intervene. "Sir, pregnant women aren't suitable for bungee jumping, especially with such a large belly. What if she miscarries? Our scenic area can't take responsibility for that. Whether she lives or dies, it's her choice and has nothing to do with anyone else." Charlie coldly interrupted the staff member. He shoved a bungee liability waiver into my hands, his tone harsh. "Sign it and jump." Those few short words made me see clearly the undisguised disgust and indifference in his eyes. He looked at me as if I were trash that urgently needed disposing of. I calmly took the agreement and signed my name expressionlessly. Having experienced the tragic death in my previous life, I had long understood how ruthless this man I once loved deeply could be. He didn't love me, nor did he love the child in my womb. Since that was the case, I no longer needed to cling to him. I would grant his wish and completely disappear from his world. I handed the signed agreement to the staff member and, under Luna's gaze that barely concealed her malice, walked step by step toward the edge of the bungee platform. Just before leaping down, I turned back to look at Charlie and said, "Charlie, this child, I'm giving it back to you." A flicker of panic crossed Charlie's eyes when he heard those words. He stepped forward, about to ask me something, when Luna suddenly rushed over and grabbed my arm. "Ember, I'm jumping." Since Luna had chosen tandem bungee jumping, she and I were tied to the same rope. The moment she leaped, I was yanked down like a stone. The violent descent made me weightless instantly, and my already aching abdomen was hit with a wave of excruciating pain. Despite being mentally prepared, I couldn't help but cry out, "Ah, it hurts." But the next second, Luna's excited voice drowned out my screams. "Wow, this is so thrilling. So this is what bungee jumping feels like. My wish has finally come true. I'm so happy." She closed her eyes and spread her arms in bliss, like a bird soaring free. Meanwhile, my abdomen grew more and more uncomfortable under the impact of the rapid descent, until suddenly a tearing pain struck. I looked down at my pants and sure enough, found blood seeping through. "Stop! I'm in pain." I couldn't help but shout. But to Luna, who was immersed in excitement, my words were nothing but a buzzkill. She glared at me impatiently. "Ember, your acting is way too fake. Charlie can't even hear what you're screaming about from that distance. What are you pretending for?" Her body bounced up and down with the bungee cord as she shouted triumphantly in my ear, while I was tortured by the excruciating pain, barely able to breathe, let alone argue back. The baby in my belly seemed to sense the danger too, kicking frantically as if trying to burst through my skin. I hung upside down in midair, my legs tightly bound by the rope, the blood rushing to my head making both me and the child inside suffocate. I waved my hands desperately. "Pull me up. I can't take it anymore." The staff on the bungee platform seemed to notice something was wrong and picked up a megaphone to shout, "What's happening? Is the customer feeling unwell?" I was already drenched in sweat and was about to use my last bit of strength to respond when I heard Luna beside me yell, "Higher. One more round. It's not thrilling enough yet." The The staff member was stunned and asked again in disbelief, "Are you sure you want another round? That pregnant woman looks like she's really suffering." I managed to say weakly, "I can't." Before I could finish, Charlie coldly told the staff, "I'm the one paying. When I tell you to do another round, just do it. What's with all the chatter? If Luna doesn't have fun, I'll file a complaint against you." Seeing this, the staff didn't dare say more and immediately operated the equipment for another round. Luna screamed even more excitedly, while my abdomen became increasingly unbearable, as if my uterus was being torn apart and blood might gush out at any moment. I don't know how much time passed before Luna finally had enough. The staff pulled me back onto the platform. By then, I could no longer feel any fetal movement. My belly, which had been prominently rounded at 8 months, now hung limply. I was completely drained, left with nothing but agonized wails, "Save me. It hurts so much. My baby." Even though I had prepared myself to give up everything, when true despair arrived, survival instinct still made me cry out for help involuntarily. But Charlie acted as if he couldn't see me at all, immediately embracing Luna. "Luna, how are you? Were you scared? Are you happy?" Luna nodded happily, then glanced at me with faint casualness. "I wasn't scared, Charlie." But Ember seemed pretty scared. She kept shouting that she was going to miscarry. Charlie's face darkened when he heard this, and he sneered, "Miscarriage? How many times has she claimed she was going to miscarry since getting pregnant? Isn't the baby still fine?" With that, he walked over to where I lay sprawled on the ground and looked down at me condescendingly. "Get up and get out of here. Don't hold up other people's bungee jumping." I was already pale with pain, unable to utter a single word. I could only tremble as I grabbed onto his pant leg, pleading for help. "Please, call an ambulance for me. I'm dying." Seeing this, Charlie's expression grew even uglier. He kicked his leg sharply to shake off my hand and sneered coldly, "No wonder Luna said you're such a good actress. She wasn't wrong. You're in such good shape. Who are you putting on this show for? You're not even half as good as Luna." A nearby tourist, seeing my pained expression, couldn't help but intervene. "Sir, your wife seems to be in real distress. Maybe you should call an ambulance?" Charlie frowned and finally bent down to take a closer look at me. But before he could see clearly, Luna's weak cry came from behind him. "Charlie, I feel so dizzy." Before she finished speaking, she collapsed gracefully. Charlie immediately rushed over and caught her steadily, his eyes full of concern. "Luna, what's wrong? Were you scared just now? Quick, call an ambulance. I'm taking you to the hospital right away." As he spoke, he had already scooped Luna up and was rushing down from the bungee platform. From an angle Charlie couldn't see, Luna, who had just appeared so fragile, shot me a provocative look filled with mockery and triumph. I endured the excruciating pain and stared intently at their retreating figures. I felt as if something inside me was being torn apart, and blood suddenly gushed out, completely overwhelming my body. Suddenly, screams erupted all around. "Blood! So much blood! Oh my God! Why is this woman bleeding so much down there? She's hemorrhaging! Call an ambulance! With all that blood, she's going to die." Amid the chaos and screaming, I gradually lost consciousness, feeling as if I was on the brink of death. Several kind-hearted tourists and staff members found a stretcher and carried me down from the bungee platform. My lower body was soaked in blood. The scene was horrifying. Someone couldn't bear to look and covered me with a piece of clothing. When they carried me down to the base of the platform, an ambulance had just arrived. Without hesitation, Charlie carried Luna toward the vehicle. "Quick, doctor, get us to the hospital right away." "Wait!" A staff member from the bungee platform couldn't stand it anymore and blocked the ambulance. "This pregnant woman here is in more serious condition. Save her first." He then directed people to carry me toward the ambulance. When Charlie saw me approaching, his emotions exploded instantly, and he shouted angrily, "Ember, are you never going to stop? Luna caught a cold from the wind and feels a little unwell, and you just have to steal the ambulance at this moment? You're putting on quite the performance, even getting people to carry you over here. You make me sick." I lay on the stretcher in a daze, wanting to wave my hand in explanation, but I didn't even have the basic strength to do so. The doctor was also confused by Charlie's words and frowned as he asked, "There's only one spot in the ambulance. Who called first?" "I did," Charlie answered urgently, holding Luna as he tried to get into the vehicle, urging the doctor, "Drive to the hospital now. Don't pay attention to that lunatic." The staff member beside us couldn't take it anymore and stepped forward to confront him. "What do you mean putting on an act? Your wife really did faint and lost this much blood, and you won't even look at her. Instead, you're being all lovey-dovey with your mistress." Luna, who had been hiding in Charlie's arms, heard this and wiped her tears pitifully. "It's okay, Charlie, don't fight with Ember over this. She can take the ambulance. I'll be fine." As she spoke, she put on another display of dizziness, as if she were about to collapse again. Charlie's heart ached terribly. He held her even tighter and roughly pushed my stretcher away. "No way. As long as I'm here today, Ember will absolutely not get on this ambulance." Just as he finished speaking, Sophia Fuller, a nurse who had arrived with the ambulance, lifted the clothing covering me and cried out in alarm, "Oh my God. Contact the hospital to prepare for emergency surgery. This pregnant woman has miscarried and is hemorrhaging severely. It's extremely dangerous." Charlie froze, his entire body going rigid.